The County Facilities Advisory Committee, more popularly known as CFAC, has been working and working and then working some more and then delaying and working some more to try and come up with some sort of a proposal for the county jail and some of the other facilities that the county uses. We're expecting, I think the county manager has said sometime in June to finally get that report. I'm sure that you're working closely with them. Just give me your sense on where that process is and what the public should know before that report comes out.
I think we're coming to an end. My role was with the steering committee, myself, the county manager, and the county council chair, trying to keep the bumpers on the guidelines for what it is that we're doing. The 25-person panel, the CFAC working group, was really designed as a sounding block to the community about the importance of a new facility. And their number one mandate at first was, do we need a new jail? My understanding that was unanimous. It was very clear that we do. It's a 35-year-old jail. We can't even get parts for doors that don't work, for the last 14 years. We MacGyver them and fix them ourselves. So it's critical that we continue to move forward. But the reason why I stayed on the steering committee and do not participate in the working group meetings is I didn't want this to be a rubber stamp for what Chuck the sheriff wants. I had my ideas of what I believed we need. I presented those, and now this group of 25 people throughout our community and throughout other elected officials and other working groups within the Clark County, they will make a decision on the design, size, scope, and where it's going to be and what it's going to look like. I have yet to hear the total bed count yet. There's still some debate as to what that looks like. But they're also looking at, do we design a jail for the future that builds in resources to mitigate the kind of people that we're currently bringing into the jail? My jail is not a place for those with mental illness. It's not a place for the homeless that commit misdemeanors, but there's nowhere else for them to go. So my jail bed number can be slightly down, or we can make it look like we don't need as many, only if we remove those folks from the incarcerated facility to resources that help them. If that doesn't change, then the number, the size of the jail needs to be much bigger. But if they include those resources and we do all alternatives to incarceration that we can impose, then we can keep that number down and keep the facility at a reasonable size for the next 10, 20, 30 years.
I think that you've touched on that, the importance, because it's going to come to the voters at some point.
Correct.
Right. I mean, the county doesn't have the money. There's nowhere they can go to get the money to do this. So at some point, they're going to have to go to the voters and say, we need more property tax revenue, we need more sales tax revenue, we need something to do this. And I think what I'm hearing from you is that given the state of what you hear about taxes in the county, the education debate that happened with all the extra funding and the people getting hit with property taxes increases last year while local levies were still in place, and the hue and cry over that and double-digit increases. You're facing a climate as you go forward with this of people that are like, I'm taxed out.
Absolutely.
So how do you go to them and say, approve this much? I just, walk through some of give them a sense of how important this is and why you think they should vote yes when it comes to increasing their taxes to pay for this.
It's very important in any society that we take care of our people. And that means you may need a jail to keep people locked up that want to incriminate others. So we need to do that in a humane way. And if people in the community get a real sense for it, and I'll be happy to give them a tour. Our jail is not a place that has all the programs that are needed, the reentry program expansion that is needed to take people that rightfully so may need to be incarcerated, but give them the help to change them as they exit back into our community. And what I try to tell people is everybody in the Clark County Jail will be coming back out into the community. It's not prison. It's not a place where people are going to be locked up for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. This is a cycle of folks coming in and coming back to our community. So we need to be able to help them. Now, having said that, in today's society and the homelessness and the mental illness because of the lack of beds, it's put a huge burden on a jail, and we're now being expected to do things that we would have never done in a jail incarceration mode in the past. And so we need to fix that. And so what I say to people is, this could be your child, this could be your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad. People make mistakes. This could be somebody in your family that has to be in that jail. And should we not make it and I'm not saying we make a party factory out of it, but should it not be a place that is sanitary, that is treating people humanely, that is providing resources to correct their behaviors if they want it? If they don't, we have a way to just lock them up and give them exercise and let them ride out their time. But should we not be helping people that ask for the help, that want the help? Should we not be that conduit? Should we not help them reentry into our community in a way that makes them successful so that they don't come back? And so that'll be that's part of what I've said all along, and that's part of what I'll say in the future as well, is that this is what a humane society does. And Clark County is way behind the curve in the way that we provide jail incarceration with indirect supervision, as we call it, where they're locked in a big room and our people are locked in a small room watching them. There's no huge amounts of interaction, which I think is critical. In direct supervision model jails of today that have been that way for 20 years plus, not only are there less attacks and violence on the deputies and the corrections facility staff and the health facility staff within the jail, there's an interaction to where, just like right now, I'm talking with you and looking in your eyes, and I can sense who you are, what you're thinking, and how this is going. And that's no different in a jail. If I'm not seeing you face to face, I don't know that today you're acting a lot different than you did yesterday. And what is that problem? What can I do to help you with that? And I can solve those problems of suicide, attempted suicide, and the different things that go on in the jail. Maybe I can step in a lot earlier. And I think everybody wants that.